Yes, Toastmasterization, we can start.
Thank you so much, President, to start out with. So good evening, Toastmasters, future Toastmaster, and guests. Being the sergeant at arms of Karachi Toastmaster Club, I welcome you all in our meeting number 881. And today, our theme is live. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the charge to the captain of the ship, the president of Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Purusa Kawat. Over to you, Toastmaster Purusa.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aliyasha. The purpose in life is to be happy. That is what Dalai Lama said. I want to ask you all, do you consider yourself happy? What about the others?
50-50.
Hussain? No matter what we do pursue happiness like we pursue all other good things in life. And the only people who I feel find happiness even in nonsense are children. And I'm always baffled at seeing their joy at even the mundane objects. We can psychoanalyze it the way any way we want, but children, I feel, are epitome of happiness. They dance without music. They laugh when everyone is serious. We'd look really idiots, like in an adult setting. There was no joke, we'd be laughing. And they even take out these crazy noises when no one's even looking. So they don't really care, and happiness matters to them more, nothing else. And they just live in the moment. That is why we find them so appealing. Can we find that madness in our daily lives? That level of madness? I think we can. And can we find a little laughter where there is no joke happening? I think we should try it. For those of us who are new to Toastmasters, Toastmasters was established more than 70 years ago by Ralph Smedley and is now an ever expanding organization. In Pakistan alone, there are 31 clubs and more are being added as we speak. The organization is dedicated to speaking, listening, and leading. And you won't be disappointed spending your time with the community because there is a huge network outside Pakistan and within Pakistan that is open and accessible only to members. Moving on, we have achieved President's Distinguished. So a round of applause for all of us, completing 9 goals out of 10 and a number of education achievements every week. That is just the beginning. With many of the new members and old members on fast track and new members joining in, we need to raise our standards not just for ourselves but for TMI Pakistan, I feel. For the new members and guests, we used to have 7 slots and now we have 9 average speaking slots. So you can bag the slot anytime. You can bribe the VPE, you can take this, standby slots, do whatever you want. Use the slots that there are there. For old members, evaluation role, mentorship roles, they are all open. And as you advance in your journey, they will become available to you. Once you complete a path, you also become eligible for the club coach or the club mentorship programs. These are really exciting programs, and the district is also working to start speech craft sessions which make leadership roles available to you. So, like I said, this is just the beginning. So, with that, moving on, do we have any guests today, or she left us? All right. So, Toastmaster Color, do we have a business segment?
Sorry?
A business
Did you?
segment. Do we have a business segment?
Actually, there's some construction work going. They chose this moment to start. I don't know why. So apologies. So as far as the business section is concerned, we conducted our second contest of the year in stark violation of the contest timelines that were introduced by the PQD himself. But never mind. Nobody is asking us that. We conducted our table topics contest actually before the announcement, which was not strictly according to rules, but it's all okay. So our tall tales contest, it was a delightful contest. Uh, Potentially, it is the most fun contest because you get to hear tall tales. Uh, In this contest, our winner was Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. Second place was won by Toastmaster Alam Qadri, and third place was Toastmaster Rahma. And I'm very, very glad to inform that, again, uh, due to some minor input from my side, two contestants will be going onwards from our club on area level, uh, because this is what the district has decided. Uh, Also, as our president mentioned, we've achieved 9 goals. We are well on our track to for the renewals. And as far as in-person meetings are concerned, we are thinking about resuming them. But today, the XCOM will deliberate on those, and we'll report the findings or the resolution to the members as soon as practical. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, DTM Kala. Now, moving on, I would like to introduce the Toastmaster of the evening. She was whisked away to Hogwarts last meeting by none other than Dobby, her favorite character, and today she's back with us. So please welcome Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Hiba Reis.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and presumably no guests. So, Toastmaster is a public forum where people from all walks of life come and to polish their skills and leadership skills, polish their public speaking skills and leadership skills. Toastmasters is a platform where we all meet, interact with each other, get to know more about life as well. And it is basically a US-based non-educational, US-based educational platform where people, their professionals come to polish the public speaking skills, and it was basically founded back in 1924 by Ralph C. Smedley in Colorado. And the theme for today is life, as mentioned in the agenda. So, what is life? Life, as I've learned, is something very, ever evolving. It changes from time to time, especially in this corona period. We've seen that how one disease can, affect thousands of people at one time. But that is just the negative side. Life in general can be positive. We can grow with our experiences, our education, and experiences, education, and whatever we are doing. Moving on, I would like to introduce the facilitators for today. So first is Grammarian. So can I have DTM Shahrukh Shanawaz to explain his role?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Toastmaster of the evening, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. So I am going to Marian.
Hello, are you? Hello, are you?
And the area of improvement with respect to our grammar. And as Marian, for grammar, I'm going to portion into the use of pronunciation, and I'm going to be some more back to Toastmaster.
Okay. Then is there timer? So can I have DTM Tala explaining his role?
so much. So throughout the meeting, I will be timing, I'll be making an attempt to time the meeting in general as well as specific segments. So the speeches are 4 to 6 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes, or there are some projects which are even longer. In every project has been defined in terms of minimum and maximum duration by Toastmasters, and I'll be showing off red, green, and blue accordingly. I'll be using this Toastmaster app, and all the speakers today are advised to pin the timer screen so that they can see it in a timely manner. The table topics are 1 to 2 minutes 30 seconds. So green light at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and 2 at 2 minutes. Similarly, evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes, so 2, 2.5, and 3. As a rule, everyone has 30 seconds grace time to complete their role. Also, I'll be expecting that all the role players will stick to their role timings. For example, the usual time period for grammarian is 3 minutes, and for journal evaluation is again 3 to 5 minutes. So again, these are well-established conventions. And in the end, I'll be presenting my report. One more thing, anybody who exceeds their speaking quota by more than 30 seconds will be disqualified from being a candidate in the voting for best speaker and best table topic speaker and best evaluator. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Then we have the counter. Can I have TM Sheikh Naveed explaining his role?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, Toastmasters. Today, my role is to count R and M's or the filler words of the participants who are coming. And by filler words, I mean I need to count the A, M, and unnecessary or meaningless words in their speeches and the long pauses. So, in your speeches, you need to avoid these filler words and come up with a speech with as less meaningless words as possible. Thank you, and over to you, TM Libara Isran.
Okay, can I have the vote counter, that is DTM Talha bin Hamid, explaining his role again?
Yes, thank you so much. So you'll be asked to vote during 4 occasions in this meeting for best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics, and best big 4. At all 4 times, I'll be floating the votes via Zoom poll, and you'll be asked to vote. As a vote counter, I'm not allowed to vote unless there's a tie, at which time I'll use my vote to break the tie. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, then we have the word master. TM Latif Mansoor will be explaining. Could you please explain your role, TM Latif?
Give me a second, please. Sorry. Today's good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today's word of the day is demeanor, and you can use it as like to show as an attract how the with the actions and how the person is feeling and how does he carry himself. For example, I'll use it in a sentence. It's like, I was extremely nervous for my first lesson, but Anne's calm demeanor immediately put me at ease. Was there anything unusual about Brian's demeanor in the afternoon? The two of you were together. He felt the mother's demeanor suggested she was preparing a bogus story. You can use the word of the day as many times as possible. There is no restrictions. I will count and let you know who has used and who has used at the best of its meaning. Thank you, and Toastmaster of the day, over to you.
Okay, next is the listener. So, who is the listener isn't mentioned?
We don't have a listener today as yet, but if anyone would like to volunteer.
I can do that. I can do that.
Okay, thank you
I
so
can
much,
help.
Toastmaster. Thank you so much.
Okay. Being the listener, my role is to highlight uh, the interesting phrases from the, the speaker, and then test you all for your listening skills. So over to you, Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Hibaris.
Okay. Next is the joke master who will be enlightening. So you will be making the moment a pleasurable one. And fortunately or unfortunately, it is me. So I have a couple of jokes as usual that I've dug up. The first one is, what kind of a shoe do frogs wear? Open-toed. The second one, I told my doctor that I broke my arm in 2 places. He told me to stop going to those places. The third one, what's a cat's favorite dessert? Chocolate mousse. The fourth one, what do you call shoes made of banana peels? Slippers. The fifth one, why did the picture go to jail? Because it was framed. The last one, don't ever trust an atom. Why? Because they mix everything up. Thank you. And now for the prepared speeches section, we'll be having the prepared speakers first. The first speaker is TM Syed Jahanzeb Shah. His evaluator is Talha bin Hamid. So, DTF Talha, can you please explain the objectives of the speech?
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Syed Jahanzeb Shah is not only a good speaker, but he's also the president of Storytellers Toastmasters Club. And we are lucky to have him as a speaker today. His project is, in Toastmasters parlance, it is titled Practice Using Vocal Variety to Enhance a Speech. So during the speech, the member will present a well-organized speech on any topic. Listen for how the member uses his or her voice to communicate and enhance the speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech is not a report on the content of Understanding Vocal Variety project. Use the speech profile resource. So, okay. So this project is all about understanding vocal variety. And as I indicated, the evaluation will also focus more upon the use of vocal variety rather than the content. So with this, I invite Toastmaster Syed Jahanzeb Shah, Rocket Science, Toastmaster Syed Jahanzeb Shah.
Thank you so much, DTM Dala. Am I audible and visible to all? All right. So it's been 3 months since I did my last legitimate speech. Some would say it's all right, and some would say it's very late. But it's no big deal because it's not my style to do these things. You know, let me add to the beautiful introduction which CTM Tala gave. You know, I was a Toastmasters back in 2015. And then I started my Toastmasters journey with a big bang. You know, maiden icebreaker speech in my maiden appearance to the Toastmasters Club. And then I went on to complete my CC manuals, initial 8 projects like a bullet train. But then came 9th and 10th projects, which took me, you know, 3-4 months to complete those 2 projects, because I went on to think differently. I went on to do something big. That was the thing. And you know, let alone the last 10th topic, it took me more than 2 months alone to do that particular topic. Because I went on to do some rocket science in order to do a big bang, like I used to do. And that pulled me back. And somehow that club got inactivated and I lost touch with Toastmasters. And then I joined again Storytellers like earlier this year. Again, I started with a big bang. You know, I started doing my projects frequently. And then suddenly, like as soon as the levels got increased in terms of difficulty, in terms of diversity, I I looked for different means in order to do something unique. So again, it pulled me back, and I took so much time in order to do rehearsing, researching, and coming up with new and newest things. And then somehow, like my mentors and coaches, like they knocked me up. Man, where are you? You need to do something. It's a big absence. And then it got me thinking, like I was doing all wrong. I need to do the things now, and I am spending more times in order to do something different, which has no logic. Can anyone guess, like, what is the problem with me? Some would say it is a proper case of procrastination, which can be partly so because you know, it from your vantage point it would look all right because it's a case of procrastination and it is a case of missed productivity. So that is the thing. And I would name numerous incidents in my educational life, in my professional life, where I faced certain failures. So that is the thing, you know, it was a problem with me, and I actively pursued looking what is the problem, what is the root cause. It happens with all, you know. I bet majority of the people now face this kind of an issue in their minds. And I would like to discuss like one thing, one discovery which I got from my persuasion of finding my problem. You know, have you ever heard about law of triviality? Parkinson's law of triviality. And in its like easier words, it is known as bike shedding. Bike shedding. And it is very interesting story how this concept was born. There was a group of scientists and, you know, planners. This group was tasked to design a nuclear power plant. So you can see there were so many rocket scientists, literally like technical people. They were tasked to do very intricate thing. You know, the most intricate thing can anyone design? It can be a nuclear power plant. So that was very important point. But some people did research on their project, like what did they do? And they found out that that group of scientists, they spent huge amount of disproportionate time and money and resources in designing the bike shed of that particular nuclear power plant. So that is the thing. That is how the bike shedding concept was like born. You know, it happens with all of us, where we allocate, you know, different, you know, disproportionate amount of our times, our efforts, our focus, you know, our mindset on the things which are of trivial nature. That is a dilemma. That is a dilemma for each and every one of us, you know, and we do not think, because we are all victim of that bike shedding problem. You know, things which are of trivial nature, they drag us like off the course, which, you know, which are of not, you know, things are less important. So that is the thing, and we do not consider, because we attract to the things which gives us you know, instant gratification. So that is the thing. And if we are not aware of this problem, we will not make any big progress. And this is something which we all should be aware of. We should resist to this urge of going with the flow, we should consider doing it right away. Whatever is important, we need to do today. Whatever is important to say today, we need to do it today. Otherwise, we'll lose it. You know, previously, I was thinking to launch a YouTube channel. So instead of going at it, I did what? I spent disproportionate amount of my time and money on the softwares to design the banner of my page. So that is that sort of problem which we all face in big projects, in our family lives, in our longer term objectives. We spend our time and focus and our thoughts on the things which matters less. So that is something which we all need to be aware of, and we all should consider focusing on our objectives. We all should consider focusing on the bigger perspective of our lives and bigger objectives of the things. And I would again emphasize that bike shedding is the thing which we all should take away from this speech. It is all in the air. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you so much.
Tim Hiba, you are muted.
Sorry. Okay. Is it my voice audible now? Okay. We have the next speaker, PM Syed Mohsen Raza. And is he even, let me just check. I think he's not there.
Yes, I'm here.
Achha, yeah, you are. Okay. Sorry. So TM Syed Mohsen Raza and his evaluator is TM Rahma Unib. TM Rahma,
Actually, it's Toastmaster Imran Rana now.
Okay. So TM Imran Rana, could you please explain the objectives of the speech?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Heba. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Today, Toastmaster Mohsen Raza is going to deliver his third project from level 2, that is about mentoring. Just give me a minute, few seconds, sorry. Okay, so he's delivering a project from second level, third speech. The purpose statement of this project is, the purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envision mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of previous experience as a protege. Toastmaster Mohsen Raza, as we all know, is a very soft-spoken person, and whenever he speaks, he reminds me one of our seasoned Toastmaster, that is Toastmaster Hassan Ali Thebo. But he is not that much pause taker as Toastmaster Hassan Thebo always do. So all the best, Toastmaster Mohsen Raza. Time duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Mohsen Raza, the stage is yours.
Thank you. When I was in foundation medical year, I was introduced to my mentors. I was asked to meet them. I was asked to go and introduce yourself. So I went to him. He was sitting in a library. Ahmed was his name. I went to him and introduced myself, that I have been sent to you. My name is Mohsen Raza, and I am in foundation year. You are my mentor. You know what he said? He said he was so excited to see me. He said, come, sit. He invited me in the library. He was alone. We were both alone in the library. I asked him how I can improve myself. He said, come on, I have a few questions for you. I said, yes, I would like to answer. Question number one, do you know when this college was founded? I said, I have no idea. It was my foundation year. I didn't do any research on that particular college. He said that it was founded in 1990. I said, oh, really? That long? Yes. Oh, I was really shocked to hear about that. You know, how many batches have passed so far, have cleared their PDS? I said, I have no idea. Maybe if I'm in 17 batch, maybe 13 batches have passed out. Yes, you are right. You're absolutely right. So I was expecting that something big will be coming out of his mouth. So you will also pass. This mentoring is nothing. Just learn from the experience. The most experienced guy. Come, have a tea with us. And that day, it was the first time in my life that I was introduced to any mentor. He took me to the canteen. We sat there. He said, what do you want to bring? Everyone ordered in his group and asked me, go and brought them things that they have told you. And I went and I had to buy from my own pocket. That was my first day of my college foundation year, where my rating was done. Later, I realized the definition of mentoring. Today, I'm here, we are all here, dear fellow Toastmasters. When I first joined Toastmaster Club, I was so excited because I never had seen anything like this before. So I was so excited that I went to different people. And when I was observing those speakers giving their projects, explaining and sharing their ideas and thoughts, someone was so dashing like Kalia. There were two daughters of Dr. Winnie. Both daughters and especially Kalia used to fight and compete with each other. I think, if I remember correctly, he asked me, who would you like to be mentored? I said with Kalia. You know what, the reason why I chose him? I chose him because he was fighting against the two girls. I said he can beat those girls all the time. Maybe I can learn something from him. I don't know how, because I've never studied an whole education setup. So I went to him. He was my first mentor in Toastmaster, and he was the only mentor. You know, the first model of mentoring, first model is called apprentice model, where the mentee observes from the past, observe the mentor and learns from him. Till this day, I'm observing him and learning from him. Second model that I saw others, especially when we used to talk about mentoring and moving upwards in a pathway. I was taught about competency model. Competency model, what is that? We need to watch the way he explains the buddy process. Buddy, you got. He explained whole concepts, steps, and processes to the buddy. That's what competency model is, where everyone works with you, where you work, if you are a mentor, where you work with the mentee and you work on their progress, steps, and then try to improve them. There is another model. That's what I call Samidodi model, reflective model, where mentor helps the mentee become a reflective practitioner, where they try to improve. You know what the beautiful thing about Samidodi? He takes the whole world. Whenever you will listen to him, the way he explains things to his mentees, I've witnessed it from the words those mentees were saying. If they try to explain that, oh, you have done a very good job. You are amazing. The start was so amazing that you feel the goosebumps. and the way if he tries to improve you, they try to make you a strong speaker. And then you become the practitioner and the mentor. There are 4 steps in mentoring. Number 1 is initiation, where you push, where you start, where you develop a relationship with a mentor if you are a mentee. That's what said earlier, what I had that with earlier. Second is cultivation, becomes the buddy process, where they cultivate you. Have you ever seen any tree, any plant standing without the support of soil and the rest of the surrounding? We'll never see this. Because with trees or anything, they always need some kind of support to stand on something. That's what mentors does. That's where comes the cultivation process. That's the second step, where you cultivate your mentee and you will try to improve or her. Third one is separation, where you let them loose to fly so they can perform on their own. And fourth comes redefinition, when you become kind of friends and advisors. There are my 5 rules now, what I've learned from those 2 mentoring sessions. Always, if you are becoming a mentor, or you are a mentee, and you are looking for a mentor, always set purpose and objective, what you are going to achieve, what you will do, how you are going to you get in this relationship. Second one is set goals, targets, where you will improve. Third one is try to be Samir Doli and learn something and explain something and have a strong communication between each other. That's where you will learn a lot by listening and speaking. Number 4, that you reflect, proud of follow-up, do a follow-up. Whether you are mentoring or you are a mentor, do a follow-up. So try to learn from each other and be proud of your achievements. It doesn't matter if you're a mentor. Rule number 5, learn, redefine yourself. Go find different horizon, go to your different horizon, and move to success and victory. That's all on my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, TM Syed Mohsen Raza. Now we have the next speaker, TM Ali Ashar Anjum. So can I have TM Shahrukh Shanawaz explaining the objectives of the speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. I hope I am audible. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, you are.
So, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, you are going to be presenting your pathway dynamic leadership project 2 level 3 using presentation software. The title of your speech is The Retention. The purpose of the project is for the member to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance a speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate his or her understanding of how to use presentation software, including the creation and slides and incorporating the technology into a speech. Timer, the time for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Ali Ashar, wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen first. Retention, or the keeping the information in your mind. Toastmasters, before jumping to the topic, let me ask some questions. My first question or the scenario is, what if you forget dates and events? In the history exams, you will got failed. What if in a journey, you forget the route or the pathway? You get lost on your way. What if you forget the date of birth of your better half? I think you are in a serious trouble. So retention is very important. You should have a sharp memory so you can retain many things. But it is quite complex thing. But there are some strategies that we can use to increase our retention. First, we have to look at what memory actually is. Memory involves active information processing of our body and the system. We get knowledge from our senses, from our ears, eyes. If we smell, we touch, we get information. The information is stored in our mind, and then we retrieve it whenever we want. So this is a memory. But if we categorize memories in the three tiers, so the first type of memory is a sensory memory, in which we get sense, we observe things, and that only retain to 0.5 seconds to at most 3 to 4 seconds. And it is very large capacity that we have lots of information around us. Then, as we are succeed to obtain that knowledge or information, that information is converted into the short-term memory. And it only lasts to the 30 seconds. If this short-term memory is not transferred to the long-term memory, the data or the information is lost. So we have to convert this into the long-term memory, which is permanent relatively. We just have to recall it on whenever we need it. And it is limitless. You can store many things in your mind and use them according to your understanding and whenever you want to apply it. But the question is how to retain the information or increase our memory. So there are some tactics that we can use. The first is what we call the semantic network theory. This is nothing. You just have to connect your learning or the information with your life. That's why in schools and institutions, STEM or STEAM learning approach is introduced. Why? Because this approach helps a student to relate their learning with the practical and the real life. And in this way, they can retain their memory. They can easily transform their short-term memory into the long-term memory. And once it is into the long-term memory, it is with them throughout their life. Now let's move to the next approach. The next approach is mnemonics. What is mnemonics? Mnemonics is any technique that you want to use to retain the information. There are several techniques used in the world, and this is a very creative approach. So I just have example of 3. So let me discuss the first one. The first one is the memory and the rhymes. We never forget the poems. We never forget the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We all know it. Why? Because it is a beautiful rhyme. We know each and every poem that we studied in our life because it is in a rhyme. Even my maths teacher used this rhyming technique to let me learn, to make me learn the formulas of the mathematics. And it is a very good approach. Here is an example that Shirley has a curly hairs. So her curly hairs is helping me to memorize her name, Shirley. The next is narrative chaining. In this, you have, if you want to learn a group of things, group of words, to make a story of it. Like as we have cat, baby, chair, book, fire, clock, cupboard, and bed. So we create a sentence that is, there was a cat and a baby on a chair reading a book in front of the fire. The clock on the cupboard set time for bed. So if I memorize this sentence, automatically I can memorize all those words. This is a nice technique, a unique one. And the last one is acrostic. What is acrostic? Let's say I want to learn the name of planets in an order. So I make a sentence, my very evil mother just sliced up the 9 people. The first letter of the words in this sentence are resembling the uh, planets. So in this way, we can learn things. And so we can use this approach to learn and increase our memory. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Okay, so can we have TM Sheikh Naveed and his evaluator TM Amir Bilal explaining the objectives of the speech? TM Amir Bilal, can you explain the objective of TM Sheikh Naveed's icebreaker speech?
Yes, we all know Sheikh Naveed is enthusiastic and energetic member, and he believes in systemizing things. So this is one of the edge that we have in KTC. Sheikh Naveed today is going to present his icebreaker, which is the first speech from any level. And he has given this speech a wonderful title, and that is Success is a Product and Uncomfortable Situations Are the Founders. So his timing is 4 to 6 minutes. Sheikh Naveed, presentation mastery and presenting icebreaker. Good luck to you.
Some days ago, while I was listening a video from New York Times bestseller for our work week writer, Mr. Tim Ferriss, he was giving the suggestions about having some transferable skills in your personality. And by transferable skills, I mean, and he means skills which can be used when you do change your industry. So for example, if you are working in a bank and you got fired and you go to change the industry of making this t-shirt clothes, you can use those skills. So primary transferable skills are, top of them is public speaking. The second one is writing, and the third one is negotiation. So joining Toastmasters is a piece of puzzle, and that Tim Ferriss speech became one of that puzzle. So I decided to join Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am Sheikh Naveed. I have over 15,000 students in 160 countries at udemy.com, a top-rated freelancer at the prestigious network of freelancers, upwork.com. By profession, I am a web designer and user interface and user experience designer. I have invested in a lot of investment opportunities, including the blockchain, cryptocurrency, mutual funds, and property. And by the grace of Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I never got a loss on average in any of the industry. I am a failed entrepreneur of around 3+ startups, and that gave me a lot of insights of having a product or some life at automation, some life of scaling. Over 10 years ago, while I was pressing the button of my PC like this, one of my senior told me, "Hey Naveed, you need to go to the waiting room and wait for the boss." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you were not present at the last Saturday, 2 days ago." And I went to the waiting room, waited for the boss. Boss came around 2 hours later and said, "Hey Naveed, you are fired." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you had taken a leave on Saturday." I said, "With your permission." And he said, "Hey Naveed, we don't need your services. If we need some more services of you, we will call you back. You can go back to home." From that chilled room of my office in a respected environment, I directly came to the road in a hot summer day with noises of the traffic and pollution all around. And I was thinking, how the heck should I tell this incident to my mother? Because my elder brother at that time was also jobless for months. So I went into a cafe and told the guy at reception that I need to hire one of your cabins for the full month. And he got shocked because most of the guys at cafe come there for 3 minutes or 30 minutes. So I told him all the story and I started work there and I worked there for around 3 months and won 3 international design contests there. After 3 months, I got a job from one of a software house from in my city, and I started a normal life. And after 10 months, I got to know this is another hell of my life because my team leader was a big. So I resigned from there and started the journey again. The journey which I had left in that dirty cafe. And fast forward 10 years, I am now in front of you with that successes which I have shared with you guys moments ago. So this is all my journey, and I am here to have some goals in my mind, to have some energizing community within my communication, to have some extra goals of become a motivational speaker in my life. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
The next speaker is TM Syed Munib Alam. And I would call upon his evaluator, TM Latif Mansoor Ali, to explain the objectives of the speech. TM Latif, are you
Yes,
there?
yeah, wait, just 1 second. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Today, my target speaker, TM Syed Munib Alam, is embarking on his Pathway Leadership Development Level 1 Project 2. His purpose of speech is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. His speech length is from 5 to 7 minutes. Speech title is The Power of a Genius Sitting Idle at His Office Desk. The Power of a Genius Sitting Idle at His Office Desk. TM Munib Alam, over to you. Good luck.
Thank you. Am I audible?
You speak a little louder, or?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. All right, so when I was a kid, about 10 years old, I remember going to McDonald's after every 2 or 3 weeks, and just because of that stupid toy that comes with the kids meal, I remember that my parents didn't like the food at all there that was being served at McDonald's, but they had to go just because of me and my sister. One time, my father even scolded the staff in there, and he said that you guys are exploiting my kids, and it's just not right. But later on, when I grew up, I started to understand things. I started to grasp things. I realized that it was just a brilliant piece of marketing done by McDonald's. What they were actually doing, that they were not only playing with the innocent minds of the children to force them to come to McDonald's again and again with the family, but they were also preparing them to be their future customer. They were embedding their brand so hard into their mind that in the future, when they grow up, they become their loyal customer just because they have strong attachment with the brand since their childhood. Maybe that's the reason that even today, if you ever ask me about going to McDonald's, I would never say no, never. And my body weight and my obesity would have justified this if I were presenting this speech in person. So that's how I initially fall in love with the marketing, because I knew that's where the money is. So that's the reason that after I chose business studies after my O levels and intermediate in science, and the journey which started just to explore how marketing works, it ended up me becoming a marketer myself. So that's how interesting the marketing is. But at the same time, marketing is also about exploiting people's need and manipulating with manipulating your consumer's mind. There are vicious people and vicious brands out there that can go to any level they want just to increase their profitability and maximize their shareholders value. Take false advertising as an example. I have a question for you all. How many of you have ever watched Fair and Lovely ads? Show of hands. All right, most of you. Next question. How many of you have actually used it or even applied on your family members? Guilty. All right. So what were the results like? Did you find yourself as a white American walking into the streets of Karachi? Did you? See?
Even darker than before.
Yeah. Neither me nor the test subject showed any difference.
So you see, that's the whole new level of false advertising, and Unilever making billions and billions of rupees over skin color complexion in Pakistan and India, the subcontinent. And with the addition of social and digital media, the authorities in Pakistan and all over the world must have their sleeves rolled up, because now advertisers have access to data that you and I cannot even imagine. For instance, platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Insta, and even Google, they exactly know everything about us. They exactly know what time do we drop off our kids to school, at what time you go to your office, where exactly your office is located, and in office where which of your team members are kind of jealous of you, and where you can be caught cheating on your wife maybe. So things like that. And not only this, they have built an AI models that are pretty good at predicting our behavior too. For example, Facebook already knows that whether I'll be voting for PTI or PMLN in the next upcoming election, or at what time I'll be craving for donuts, what is the best time to show me updates from Toastmaster on Facebook, things like that. So I know that's very scary, and we should all be very worried about all these things. But we should always think twice before making a purchase, before making any purchase, and we should always think that, do I really need to buy this stuff, or is it just because of some genius marketer sitting idle behind his desk, thinking about ways to manipulate my mind? In the end, I would like to recommend you a movie and a documentary which inspired me to write the speech for you. And the movie name is Founder. It's basically based on McDonald's, how it started and how it all expanded to over 100 countries. And the documentary is Netflix documentary by the name of Social Dilemma. I know most of you must have watched them, but still, for those who don't know, it's for them. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
A very lovely and informative speech by you, TM Sayyid Munib Alam. Moving on, we have the next speaker, TM Umar Hayat, and his evaluator is President TM Urusa Kaval. So please, TM Urusa, can you explain the objective? TM Urusa.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hiba. Just a second, I need to take out his evaluation form. Yes, Toastmaster Umar is giving his speech from Dynamic Leadership, level 4.
बेटा आप
His
क्या कर
project
रही हो?
is
सब रखा हुआ है
20th
आपने अभी तक, आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया फिनिश.
20th session. The topic of his speech is SME finance in Pakistan. The purpose statement is that his project is for the members to learn about and practice facilitating a question and answer session. The purpose of the speech is for the member to practice delivering an informative speech and running a well-organized question and answer session. The member is responsible for managing time, so there is adequate opportunity for her. The speech length is 15 to 20 minutes. There is a 5 to 7 minutes speech, and then the rest of the time is for the Q&A session. So over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Small and medium businesses are the lifeblood of any economy. Especially in this time of economic crisis, we rely on our small businesses to be robust and grow and take the economy with them. However, small and medium businesses have a huge problem. They don't have access to capital that they need to grow. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, in this presentation, I will explore with you why that is the case and what some possible solutions can be. First of all, these are some global data points I collected, but what I really want you to focus on is the diagrams on the right. What they show is that there's a stark disparity between SMEs in high-income countries and SMEs in low-income countries. Especially in low-income countries, you can see there are a lot of micro enterprises and there are a few large businesses, but there's a missing middle when it comes to SMEs. This is a World Bank study, especially if you look at the Pakistani market, you see why that is the case. It's true because banks primarily like to lend to large businesses. For micro businesses, you have special microfinance banks. But for small to medium businesses, which have revenues from 50 million to 800 million, there isn't any specialized institution. So why are banks so reluctant to lend to small businesses? There are a lot of reasons, but the main is that the cost of acquisition and the cost of operation is so high that the bank would rather focus on lending to government or big business, and that crowds out investment in the SME space. Coupled with this is the fact that especially small businesses in Pakistan largely belong in the, a lot of times belong in the informal sector, where they have no credit score and they lack the sophistication to build a network with banks. So now that we know what the problem is, what could some solutions be? One of the main ways that SME lending is facilitated around the world is by the use of alternative lending schemes. For example, financing can be provided against an invoice. Unlike the traditional way where financing may be provided against property, a small business can be financed against an invoice. Or especially in Africa, there's a method being used with blockchain finance for agricultural products, where a token is issued against every commodity unit, and financing takes place against that. And these methods will really facilitate SME lending. Another thing that we can do is innovative credit scoring mechanisms. There's a lot of data analytics and behavior-based artificial intelligence, machine learning approaches that can be used that leverage alternative sources of data. For example, whether a business pays its bills on time and salaries on time and so on. And those can be used to construct credit models that can then facilitate lending. The biggest disruptor in the SME lending space is fintech solutions. And globally, it is used, fintechs are used in collaboration with banks and also independently to reduce operational costs and build automatic data analytics capabilities that facilitate lending. We have seen in recent years, there are fintech firms that are coming into Pakistan as well, like Finja and Habal. And I am sure that in the next 10 years, we will see many more fintech firms. Okay, in the next in the next 10 years, we will see many more fintech firms that will leverage the power of technology, facilitate SME lending in Pakistan, and improve our economy. So now I would like to open the floor for questions. Any question on this topic or any related topic that you may have?
Yeah, I have a question, Team Omar
Yeah.
Hayat.
Yeah.
Okay. We have heard about a similar kind of model which Akuwat presents. Would we call it fintech, or is it something else?
Can you describe it a little bit, please?
There is a NGO. Its name is Akuwat Foundation, and they also lend to small medium enterprises
Right.
finances, but they have a different model. So can we call that fintech, or is it how is it different from this model that you have described?
So it would. So I'm not familiar with that exact business, but it would depend on exactly what technology they use. What fintechs do is that they really form a framework which connects, say, small businesses and banks. Uh, um, uh, or like Karandas is doing, um, um, they raise their own independent funds that they then use technology to dispense. So if a Huat is doing any of that, then it would qualify as a fintech company.
Toastmaster Umar, I have a question over here.
Yeah.
By when do you think these fintechs will take over the conventional banking channel?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question because globally in the last 20 years, fintech have improved from like 0% to about a third. So more than 30% of all lending globally to small businesses now take place via fintech. And in Pakistan, it's almost negligible. So, Pakistan tends to be at least 20 years behind. I would say that in the next 10 years, we would see that there's a lot of uh, lending being done by fintechs, and this really needs to take place because it is really the only way for the economy to move forward.
Toastmaster, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, the bankers in our audience will be better able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the lending market for loan seekers is quite lucrative these days due to low interest rates. And same goes for SMEs. But at the
Right.
same time, we are being squeezed on the other hand by regulatory forces, FATF, and the resultant need to enact strict regulations and terrorizing policies just to show the powers that be that we are FATF compliant. So how does that leave? In what light does that leave this option for SMEs? Like they don't have the necessary size or clout to ensure compliance with a lot of regulations. So how are the institutions dealing with that? Because these are two opposite forces that are acting.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. And so I would actually disagree a little bit. And when I explored into this subject, I found that the regulations that are already on the books, they are flexible enough that a lot more small business lending can be done. So, for example, State Bank has in its regulations that clean lending, which basically means cash flow based lending, can be done. We also have provision for electronic signatures for fintechs. So the regulation is actually there. The real obstacles are banks in this case. Because if you talk to banks, they still have an old way of thinking that if a small business goes to them, he'll say, well, I need your property, I need your personal assurance, I need everything you have, and then I will lend. So the mindset that really needs to change is that um, even within the existing regulatory framework, the state bank has allowance for a lot of SME lending, and it is the bank's mindset in collaboration with fintech that really needs to change. And there is a positive note here that the new state bank governor, Reza Bakir, is actually active in this space, and he is enabling a lot of um, uh, new credit schemes. So I'm sure that in the next 5 years, you will see progress in this space. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Naveed here. I have one question. So other than this, do you see any infrastructure constraint in Pakistan which actually is keeping us behind the rest of the world in terms of the growth and utilization of these fintechs?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the problems in Pakistan is that technologically we are far behind on stuff like electronic invoicing, for example. So uh, around the world, a lot of invoicing takes place electronically, which means that a lot of financing can take place through a fintech by just uploading an electronic invoice. Now, in Pakistan, if an invoice is being created and it's like written by a hand and it needs 50 stamps, then there isn't an infrastructure that's there to streamline the process. So yes, that electronic infrastructure needs to be there. In countries like Brazil, it was mandated by the state, and really also in Pakistan, it needs to be mandated by the state. And only then we'll see adoption take place. Now, another huge problem is that tax evasion. So people just don't want to do electronic invoicing or be a part of any infrastructure because they don't want to pay taxes. And so that entire mindset needs to change. And you're absolutely right that the infrastructure needs to be streamlined and it needs to be mandated, because that is the only way for the economy to improve on this front. How much more time do I have?
We've run out of time for Q&A. Okay. It is exactly 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So,
okay.
But I have a feeling we can
thank you all so much.
All night. So
yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's a huge, it's a huge topic. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have the next speaker, TM Ghulam Qadir, and I call upon his evaluator, TM Javed Bhatti, to explain the objectives.
All right, so TM Ghulam Qadir is delivering his speech, and the project title is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of his speech is to define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring.
You're not audible.
He is audible.
Okay.
Am I audible now?
Sorry.
Yes, you are.
Probably my internet.
And the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. So over to you, TM Ghulam Qadir.
Before I start my project, can I request all the Toastmasters and the guests to please open the camera, as I really don't like to speak in front of the black screen. I want to see all the Toastmasters and their faces and their gestures, because I won't be able to hear them out. At least I can see them before I present. Thank you so much. Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, great. Toastmaster of the day, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Mentors can be our teachers, our friends, our colleagues, coaches, our guides. Our mentorship starts from the schooling. Our teachers are our first mentors. As we grow old, our parents, our siblings, our uncles and our aunties and our relatives, and of course, our friends become our mentors. As we enter into our work life, I wouldn't call all the bosses, and you would also agree with me, but some of the bosses do become our mentors. And we do remember them for our lifetime. I also had one of the mentor at my workplace who always used to guide me, coach me regarding my academics and my professionalism. That's why I'm here, because of him. Now coming back to KTC. When I joined KTC, I only knew DTM Talab and Hamid, and I knew none. So I gave my icebreaker as a very, very new Toastmaster. Soon after my icebreaker, I got a message on my mobile by VPE. And she asked me, have I assigned you a mentor? I said, no, you have not assigned your mentor. Do I need one? She said, yes, yes, yes. All the Toastmasters need to have a mentor. Oh, yeah. So I said, okay, assign me a mentor. She sent me a contact number of one of the Toastmaster. I saved that number. And that very day, I had a chit chat, long chit chat with my mentor. And after that, we never spoke again. Yes, after the icebreaker, I was about to prepare for my next project. But before my next project, one day my phone rang and I picked up the phone. Hello? And there was a very nice and humble and kind, down to earth voice. Hello, is this Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir? I said, yes. Toastmaster GQ speaking. Toastmaster GQ, this is the president of your club, Toastmaster Imran Rana. How are you doing? I said, yes, I'm doing very well. Toastmaster GQ, you gave a brilliant icebreaker. I said, oh, thank you very much. Now I want you to participate in a humorous contest. I said, what is this? I just gave an icebreaker and you want me to participate in a contest? How would I prepare that? How would I know? How will I make the speech? Toastmaster Imran Rana said, you don't need to worry. Do you have any thoughts in your mind? I said, yes, few of them. Why don't you jot it down on a piece of paper and send it to me? I said, okay, fine. I can jot it down and I'll send it to you. I jotted down on a piece of a paper few of the ideas and I emailed it to my president of the club. I quickly got a call from him. Wow, what a speech you have written. But you can improve this speech with this. And I did that. And as a new Toastmaster, even before giving my first project was Icebreaker. The second project, I entered into a contest and that too online. because things had changed. I only gave my icebreaker in person at Beach Luxury. So this was the first contest. I didn't had any experience of the contest before. And I went into that contest. The contest went very well. And I lost. Nevertheless, soon after the contest, I again got a message from Toastmaster Imran Rana. Wow, you delivered it so well. You were amazing. And that's how I got encouragement and confidence out of myself. I kept on giving my projects one by one, one by one, one by one. Every time when I became the best speaker, he messaged me. Every time when I became the best facilitator, he messaged me. Whenever I became the best evaluator, he acknowledged it. Later on, again, the same happened for the international contest. I prepared. I got mentorship from him. I still lost, but I still gained confidence. And recently, what happened? Recently, I signed up for the tall tale contest. And at the 11th hour, he was chasing me. This man was chasing me. You don't have to back out. You don't have to back out. Till 5 p.m. the same day, I backed out. But Toastmaster Imran Rana was chasing me. Let me tell you, I never had this sort of a mentor in my life. Toastmaster Imran Rana, I respect you from the core of my heart. You are the best mentor I ever had in my life. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
If you deliver the tall tale speech in contest, I guaranteed you should have won that contest.
Excuse me?
Okay. Now we move on to the last speaker for the day, TM Javed Bhatti. TM Javed Bhatti, title of the speech is Reflect on Your Path. And sorry for the hold up. Reflect on your path. And the duration of the speech is 10 to 12 minutes. And the purpose statement, the objective of the speech is, the first one, the purpose of the project is for the member to reflect on his growth during the completion of an entire path. And the second one, the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her growth during the completion of a path. Ladies and gentlemen, TM Javed Bhatti, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening. So today I am completing my first pathway, and it has been almost 2 years now that I started this journey of mine as a Toastmaster. And what a ride it has been. I have been so much blessed, and one of the best decisions that I took was to become a Toastmaster. It has benefited me not only personally, but professionally. And I have spoken about that time and again. So I'm not going to waste my time, and let's jump into my presentation right away. And I will try and share my screen so that I can reflect on the pathway that I just finished. So can you, all right. So is the screen shared? Because I cannot see. DTM Talha, can you please confirm?
Yes, it is.
Is the screen shared? DTM Talha, can you please confirm?
Yes, it is. It is.
All right, thank you. All right, so the first pathway that I chose was presentation mastery, because it aligned with my goals. Whenever for all the new Toastmasters and for the guest especially, if you become a Toastmaster, we have several pathways that you have to choose from. And out of those pathways, I chose presentation mastery because it aligned with my personal and professional goals. So this presentation mastery, this pathway helps you build your skills as an accomplished public speaker. The projects of this path focus on learning how an audience responds to you and improving your connection with the audience members. The projects contribute to developing and understanding an effective public speaking technique, including speech writing and speech delivery. This pathway culminates in an extended speech that will allow you to apply what you have learned. So this was the description that was given on the Toastmasters website, and after reading that description, I instantly chose it. I didn't went into the survey that Toastmaster gives you to, and it helps you choose pathway. I didn't went into that questionnaire, and I instantly chose that pathway just after reading this description. So there are basically 5 levels in this pathway. First level is mastering fundamentals. Then the second level is learning your style. Then the third level is increasing your knowledge. Fourth one is building your skills. And fifth one is demonstrating expertise. The first project was Icebreaker. As always, it is a common project across all the pathways that we have, where you have to introduce yourself to the club. So the very first thing when you do icebreakers, there is a sheet which pathways provide you. It is called a speech outline worksheet, and it will help you write your speech in a very structured manner. Before doing before becoming a Toastmaster, I thought that the speeches are written just like letters, because I am a marketing manager in a firm, and I am used to writing lengthy emails and lengthy communication and business letters. But I was not aware that the speech has a structure. And this project helped me identify that structure. And also in this project will ask you to write down your goals. So the basic reason of myself was to become a public speaker and also to overcome the fear that I had of public speaking. And also when I joined in, there was an international session held at ICAP. And instantly when I became a Toastmaster, I went into that session before delivering my icebreaker. And there was some speaker who came from abroad, and he said something which attracted me. And I realized that I have dived into a bigger ocean, not in a small pond. Because in Toastmasters, you can improve upon more than 300 competencies. I mean, there are more than 300 areas that have been identified that you can improve inside the Toastmasters program. And this is a picture of myself delivering the icebreaker speech in January 2019, and in the good old days in the pre-corona world. And what were the learnings? As I told you, that I learned the speech structure, how to structure a speech. And I also enjoyed the environment that we had in our in-person meetings. It was very supportive, it was warm, although the ACs were super cool, but the environment was warm. And the add-on, in my icebreaker speech, without anybody's recommendation, I went in and I used a prop. I used a boxing glove. So nobody discouraged me that this is your icebreaker speech and you should not use a prop. So I used a prop and it turned out well. And one thing that didn't turn out well was that I used a slang word. And in Toastmasters, they are very particular about few things: religious, sex, politics, and the slang word. Although that slang word was acceptable, but the person who uploaded my speech put a little sign which says parental advisory. And this is the only speech on the KTC YouTube channel which has this sign. So I'm privileged. All right. So the second and third project was evaluation and feedback. And the title of my speech was Art of Communication. And in this project, we develop skills for delivering and receiving feedback. Basically, this lays the foundation for you to become a good speaker, because without feedback and without these evaluations, our projects are just incomplete. So the first project was evaluated by TM Hiba. I don't know if she remembers or not. And the feedback that she gave me was spot on. She said that you could include some vocal variety, and the eye contact was missing, and some gestures were missing. So in my second speech, I tried to incorporate that, and I was able to improve upon my gestures and the vocal variety a bit. But because of the lack of confidence and the fear, I was still not able to raise my eyes from the floor. I had trouble making eye contact with the audience. As you can see in this snapshot, this is my second project. And in this picture, you can notice that my eyes are looking down. So the feedback was spot on from TM Hiba and TM Navinta Karan. Sorry for the blurred picture. I could not find any other picture. This is the third project that I delivered. And what were the learnings from these two projects? Of course, I learned how to take feedback positively and not personally. Apply the feedback in your next project. And also I learned what is a sandwich approach. In Toastmasters, we have a sandwich approach of giving feedbacks and evaluations, which is like a sandwich where you give something positive, then you highlight an area of improvement, then you end your evaluation with something positive and summarize it again. And this is the evaluation process that I learned, and I still use this evaluation process. And this is a fantastic way of giving feedbacks to any upcoming speaker. So the fourth project was research and present. Now, in my whole life, I had never done anything like this before. And the research that I did was the project required the research to be done, in which I had the interest on. So the topic that I chose was cosmology, because this is one topic that I was interested to investigate, but I didn't had time, or the circumstances didn't allow me to look into it. And this project was just the perfect time and the spot for me to investigate into this little, I would say, vast world of ours. So the speech title was Universe Out There or Within Us. So what does this project teaches you? Well, this teaches you how you conduct your research, what you already know about the topic. Then you go on and research on a broader level. Then you narrow down your research. Then you collect resources and citations and examples for your speech. And there is a research worksheet that this pathway provides you, that you can use to research your topics and your speeches apart from Toastmasters as well. So this is a picture of me giving this speech on April 2019. And what were the learnings? Of course, I learned how to prepare and deliver research-based speeches, how to structure your speech, how to present your research. Well, we all know when you present a research-based, lot of data and analytics-based speeches, you tend to lose the audience interest. And this project teaches you that how you can present a research-based speech without losing the audience interest. And above all, while researching for this specific topic, my perspective changed about a lot of things, because this is a vast universe, and I came to know that how pointless and meaningless few things are in our life. For instance, our planet Earth is just a mere dot when it is compared with the planet Venus. And the planet Venus is just a mere dot when it is compared with our sun. Well, sun is a star, and it is just a mere dot when you compare it with the bigger star UYSQT. So this is how I came to know that the universe is vast. And because of this project, I was able to research on this interesting subject. So the first project of mine was Know Your Communication Style. Before this project, I didn't have any idea what sort of communication styles we have. So I went into it and I read the project and I prepared a speech which was called Self-Talk. The purpose of this project was to learn about different communication styles and identify your primary style. So this is me giving this project. I think it was Ramzan and it was the first Sunday of Ramzan and I delivered it. So at KTC, we don't stop. We don't skip our meetings. The force behind KTC will make sure the ExCom and the president, they will make sure that any week will not go by without having the meetings, whether it is a storm or riots or anything. Nothing
At
can
least one
stop.
KTC meeting.
I don't recall that even. So Ramzan didn't stop us. We had our meetings in Ramzan as well. So what did I learn? Of course, I learned that there are different kinds of communicators: direct communicators, initiating communicators, supportive communicators, analytical communicators. And coming from marketing and sales background, I somehow resembled it with the Herman's whole brain model, which also has similar kind of analytical, experimental, and practical and relational brain sides that he explained. So the sixth project was effective body language. Now this is one of the weakest project that I delivered because I delivered it without properly reading the project itself. So one lesson that I learned during this project, that you don't deliver your projects without going through the project itself. I mean, you have to read the project and prepare your speeches according to the project. So this was about the body language, and I was using first time in my KTC journey, I was using a projector, and all the while I was trying to stay away from the projector, and I was also trying to shift my slides because we didn't have the remote. So I have to present, then I have to change the slides, and it was a mess. But I somehow managed to complete this project. And what did I learn? Well, there are different body languages. Importance of body language is mammoth when it comes to public speaking, because it comprises of a major portion of our communication. So we have verbal communication, then we have non-verbal communication. So this project teaches you what is a non-verbal communication, what is an intentional body language, what is unintentional body language, what are purposeful movements. I used to move a lot, meaningless, because this helped me when I moved from one place to another place, when we had in-person meetings on stage, and I was not able to stand still at one spot and deliver the project. I used to move around. So this helped me in memorizing my speeches, and also this helped me avoid the audience gaze. So I used to move around. And in this project, I came to know that my movement should be purposeful. It should not look like a walk in the park. So also the facial expression and the voice modulation, how they help you emphasize and highlight your point. So this project was very helpful in developing those competencies. And also this also helped me that I should, when you are delivering your speeches on a projector, how you should line up your projector and your laptop, that you should not come in between those. So the seventh project was Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. We just heard a speech from TMGQ, who delivered the same project today. And my project was What Gives You Wings. The speech title was What Gives You Wings, and the purpose of this project was to define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. This was me delivering my my project at that time. It was September 2019, almost a year ago, and the learnings were very, I would say, enlightening, because when I was going through that, I almost skipped this virtual mentoring part. In this project, there is a page which says virtual mentoring. And I just skipped that. I didn't read that because I said, who needs virtual? But now that we have everything virtual and digital, so now I can relate to that how Toastmasters had designed these projects, keeping in view every possibility. So in this project, I learned what are the benefits of becoming a protege, and also very effective thing that I learned in this project was the difference between coaching and mentoring. Well, before this project, I thought these two things are the same, but there is a world of difference when you go through them in this project. And these are some of the differences that Toastmasters have listed in this project. So the eighth project was managing a difficult audience. Well, it's one of the most, I would say, one of the most entertaining projects that we have in this pathway. I enjoyed delivering it. And more than that, I'm sure that the people who were giving the roles enjoyed listening and teasing and leg pulling during this project. So what is this project? This project is to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when you present outside your Toastmasters club. Well, in any arena or in any crowd, when you present a speech, you have different type of audiences. There are some talkers, there are people who have their phone ringing all the time, there are people who are talking all the time, there are people who are just sleepy, who are just lost in their own world. They don't know what you are talking about, the silent type, the arguer, the chatterer. So this project highlights each and every type of listener that you can have in your audience. And it also teaches you how to tackle those and how to manage those listeners in your audiences. So, and when I was delivering the speeches, this project, and when I was delivering specifically this project, we had DTM Talha. I still remember there were some other TM Navinta Karan, there was TM Babar, I believe, and they were all trying to disturb me while I was trying to give my speech online, of course. And they were trying to call me, and there were different types of disturbances. And it was my test that how I handled those disruptors. So the ninth project was something that I personally had a relationship with because I already had a podcast, and I thought it would be cool that I could present that podcast in this project. And the purpose of this project was to introduce your skills needed to organize and present a podcast. So podcast is a sort of a conversation. You can have a conversation or you can deliver it solo as well. And so I chose to do an interview. This is a Toastmaster Ranjit. And I went to his place and I interviewed him. And I have a podcast which is called Awaken Falcons podcast. This is the poster of the podcast. It is available on Google Podcasts, iTunes, and every other platform out there. So if you want to look at it, you can go there and maybe listen to this episode. It is also available on YouTube. So what are the learnings in this project? Well, I already had the idea what the podcast is and how you should arrange it, but I didn't had the idea how to script your podcast, like opening topic 1, then topic 2, how you can transition from one topic to another topic. All these competencies were learned in this project. And the 10th project was moderate a panel discussion. So I interviewed our very own DTM Talha, TM Anam, and TM Imran. I had the choice to do it online, but I thought it would be cool if I could go to their place and arrange a setting where I could conduct a panel discussion in their home maybe. And they were kind enough and generous enough to let me into their home. And I set up a camera, and this is the picture from that interview, and it is almost in the final stages, and it would be uploaded soon. And basically after that, I made a decision that I should launch a talk show for KTC. And after after discussing with my mentors, I was able to get their approval, and we are going to launch a talk show which is called The Other Side. And this talk show will feature KTC members. Every week we will try and interview a new member or a seasoned Toastmaster from our club, and we will release the video on YouTube maybe. And this is a talk show for KTC, and we will try and explore the other side, that what our Toastmasters do apart from being a Toastmaster, what kind of life they live, and all those kind of kinky stuff. So what were the learnings? Well, it was a very enriching experience for me, because the interview, when it will get uploaded, you will see that how rich and informational that talk was. So I learned that how to arrange and organize a panel discussion, generating the questions to keep the conversation moving forward. Because when in a panel discussion, you have to balance out the panelists, because it happens sometimes when one panelist is a talker and the other one is a silent type, then you have to balance it out so that every panelist gets the chance to contribute into that discussion. And I also learned that how to ask open-ended questions that don't have definite yes or no answers. Open-ended questions are that require speakers to prompt conversations, to produce stories. Probably an example for that would be, tell me more about your experience as a Toastmaster. So this is not a yes or no question. The answer would be a lengthy one. So this project helped me a lot in designing my questions for the podcast and the interviews. Okay, the last project was to prepare to speak professionally. This is one of the toughest projects, and it was because of DTM Talha who pushed me into it. And he said that the occasion is just perfect and you already have the material, and I want you to do it on our 20th anniversary. So when we had our 20th anniversary meeting in September, I presented this project, and this was the longest project that I've delivered in KTC or in my life ever. So the purpose of this project is to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. And this was a challenge in itself, not the writing, but to remember and to keep the audience attention for that longer span of time is challenging. So this is me delivering this project online, of course. What were the learnings? Well, this project teaches you how you can become a professional speaker, and what are the characteristics of a professional speaker, and how you can market yourself as a professional speaker. All of that is written down in this project, and it is a very enlightening project. And one of the major point that I learned delivering this project was to hold your audience attention, because attention is currency. Attention is everything in these days. In social media days, we have such a short attention span, and it is very challenging to hold your audience attention for long amount of time. So this is a project that will teach you how to do that. And I will finish it off with the saying that I'm still learning at KTC. You never stop learning, you never stop growing, and I'm a work in progress. Over to you.
Okay, thank you for such a in-depth reflection on your project. And moving on, path. Moving on. And now I would, before I called upon the table topics master, I have to ask the timer, have all the prepared speakers qualified?
Two of the speakers have exceeded their time, and I want the president's decision on them. The first one is Toastmaster Sayyid Mohsen Raza, who spoke for 8 minutes and 36 seconds against the maximum limit of 7 minutes 30 seconds. And Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, who spoke for exactly 25 minutes against the maximum limit of 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Both are disqualified for voting. Both are disqualified for voting.
So just give me a few seconds to float the poll. And Toastmaster, Heba, meanwhile, you can invite the table topics master while I float the poll.
Okay, now I call upon, now is the time for the second portion of our session, the table topic session, and I call upon the table topics master TM Imran Raza to have the stage, virtual stage.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, everyone. Today
Just
I am
30 seconds for the polling, and then you can start.
okay. Sure.
Everyone, please vote. 10 seconds to go.
I can't see the poll.
Yeah. Okay, wait. You can Toastmaster Imran, you can forward me your vote via WhatsApp privately because you're one of the co-hosts, so you cannot vote. But I've gotten all the votes, so okay.
Can I start? Okay. So today I am performing the role of table topic master, and the theme is life. Life is so unpredictable. 2 days back, our VP education has floated on the WhatsApp about the roles and all that, and I was okay, healthy, and everything was fine. But since yesterday, I have a sore throat and cough, and my voice is also not good. So hopefully, I'm not COVID. Hopefully, prayers for me. So in Toastmaster table topic segments helps us developing 4 vital communication skills. Number 1 is listening, number 2 thinking, number 3 is organizing, and number 4 is delivering. So timer has to time all speeches. Speakers have to speak minimum of 1 minute and maximum 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's begin the show. The word of the day is demeanor, which means outward behavior. So use the word of the day. I would like to call upon the first member who is expert of the expert and who has mentored many members at KTC. And his name is like my name. So you can now guess it. He is our ex-president. So put your hands together for Mr. Imran Rana. Are you there, Mr. Imran Rana?
I wish I was.
Yeah. So the topic for you is name a motivational movie you have seen and tell us something interesting about it.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Imran Raza. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening. Nowadays, I am I'm actually regularly watching Netflix movies. And nowadays I'm watching dramas, those movies which has drama and actually the story. So I cannot say about any specific movies, but few days back, which movie should I tell you? Okay, I remember one good movie, After the Promise. It was about a teacher who worked very hard on his class to make them a good student. And when the teacher changed them into good student, so the time came to say goodbye, and they started the students started doing again the uh, not good things. They wanted to keep him stay at the school. So it was quite interesting, quite amazing movie. In that movie, that it was all about the mentorship, means where he faced so many difficulties from the students, and at the end he became one of the best teacher. So it quite inspired me a lot. And when I started giving tuitions, so I used the same tricks and techniques. So when when I almost leaving the students, so they requested me to please don't go, please teach us forever, and when we get married, please teach our children as well. So that was one of the best movie I watched, and it was quite inspiring and interesting. Over to you, Toastmaster Imran.
Thank you very much, TM Imran. Rana, you are always amazing. Next, I would like to call someone who is a DTM and she speaks very well. Uh, I would like to call DTM Maria Ahmed. Are you there, DTM Maria? Hello? DTM Maria Ahmed, are you there? Okay,
Maybe you can
I guess
call
she's
her at the end.
okay. Next, I would like to call a guest. Is Ali Faisal is there? I think he has left. Another was Ubaid Khan. He has also left. Oh no, he is there. Uh, Mr. Ubaid Khan, are you there? Ubaid Khan? Okay, I think he's not there. So the next I would like to call TM Saad Shoaib, if he's there. Saad Shoaib, are you there? TM Saad Shoaib, are you there? Okay, so I think DTM Maria is there, I guess. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay. So
Yes.
let me share. So DTM Maria, for a topic for you is your one of the accomplishment that has impact on your life. Tell us about that. Thank you. Over to you. You are not
Maria,
audible.
you're muted. You're muted.
All right. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, table topic master, and honorable guest. One of the greatest achievements of my life that has a deep and profound impact was my graduation ceremony. I graduated about eight years ago with a distinction and a gold medal. You know what was the prominent feature of that particular event was that the chief guest was the governor of the Sindh. So he was present over there and he distributed certificates to other graduates as well. Well, I received a standing ovation because I got gold medal and degree with distinction. And it was a moment that I will cherish throughout my life. because my father was accompanying me, and everybody knows DTM Salim, who can forget him. So he was also present with me, and everybody congratulated me around the audience, my teachers, mentors, and of course facilitators. All of them were there, and it was indeed a remarkable achievement because I have earned this through a lot of sacrifice of hard work, blood, sleepless nights. I had spent so much, and I have worked and struggled to achieve this goal. So it was an accomplishment which I will cherish throughout my life. And it was indeed a moment of pride and honor for me and my family. And whenever I look at that gold medal or the degree award, it brings a lot of memory down the lane, especially the memory of the graduation ceremony being attended along with my father. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, DTM Maria. It was amazing achievement. TM Saad, Shoaib, are you there? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
So let me share.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so your topic is when you are in the middle of an argument and you realize that you are wrong.
Fellow Toastmasters, masters and guests. It's actually happened to me. It's actually happened to me many of times that when I'm angry or I'm in the zone of an anger that I totally miss out on the fact. Just about a couple of days ago, I was on the road when I was driving, and I was standing I was standing on a traffic signal, and my car was moving backwards, and it actually that is struck the bike behind me, and I thought the bike had gone ahead, but I was the one I was the one who was at I was the one who was wrong. So I argued, but then I was like this. Over to you.
Thank you, TM Saad Shoaib. Next, I would like to call upon DTM Shahrukh. Are you there?
Yes, Toastmaster Imran. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Okay. So your topic is our comfort in life often comes at the expense of others. Over to you.
Thank you, table topic Toastmasters. This is a very interesting topic, I must say. Our comfort in life often comes at the expense of others. Well, we are all taught this thing that what shall we sow, we shall reap, or karma. It always comes back to haunts us. So our actions do have consequences. And sometimes when we are at a position of advantage, it is possible that we have reached that position by at the expense of someone. A positive example can be the parents. Parents loves us. Our parents love us. They spend so much money on our education. They give us so much time, love, and affection. And for them, they lose their comfort for the sake of our upbringing. But there can also be negative examples in our lives as well. I am sure many of us have this experience that they were expecting a raise or a promotion, but suddenly someone else got it and they felt betrayed. And my personal experience I would like to share that I was preparing for exams in 2015 and I helped a friend to study, and we were actually study on sharing the notes, discussing law and everything. But I was more of a teaching him, and he was more of listening to me and reading my notes. And suddenly he passed and I failed, and he was shocked, and so was I. And I was again asked not to share your notes, not to share your ideas with others. Keep them to yourself. Why do you have to be so generous and so forth? But then I realized that no, this is not a life for me. I cannot be someone which I am not. I still believe that law, Toastmaster activity, and everything in life we need to share and we need to discuss. And even if I disagree or if the other person disagree with me or something unexpected happens, I should not change my principle. So back to table topic master.
Thank you very much, DTM Shahrukh, for amazing point of view. Next, I would like to call upon TM Shamam. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So let me share. Actually, I want. So the DTM Tala, we have 6 or 5 speakers.
We have 5.
Now we have 5. Okay.
I won't mind if that's enough a speaker.
I want to give you a special topic.
Really?
Yeah.
You can
TTC should start physical meetings, yes or no? Give your opinion.
Thank you, topic master. This has been a debate, and I know for one thing that people would like, we are all are social animals, and sitting in front of the computer and talking to the screen since morning, it is tough. Like, and I'm realizing that since it's Zoom and an online, so the things that we used to do in office or workplace was like chatting over coffee, just getting into some cubicle and discussing things. Now everything is on Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams. So it's starting at 11 a.m. Till throughout the day, it's just the screen. And although we are getting connected more and more, but we are somewhere getting away from the social part of ourselves. People come, peep into our room and say, oh, meeting going on? Okay, fine, go. So people who are actually more social and like to be socialized and have an interaction more as one-on-one, for them, I think it is a time. If there is something high, more than high time, then it's a high time for them to get on physical. On the other hand, if you ask me, who is a female, a multitasker, and who has got into this comfort zone of managing home along the work that we are going on doing throughout the day, My personal thing, if someone asks me what would you prefer, I would prefer still being at home and being in my comfort zone and having it this way. Although I can understand like the first part that I was mentioning. So if you ask me, it's about staying home, do everything else, get on the times when there is a meeting and get it done. But for everyone, for every other Toastmaster who is a bit more socialized than myself, I think they would prefer that. So I can't give one verdict. And with that, over to you, Toastmaster, Tabletop Master.
Thank you very much, TM Shamam. It was an excellent opinion and a balanced one, I must say. So with this, we end this segment, and I must ask now, timer, that all has qualified?
Yes, all have qualified, and I'm floating the poll right now. And I'm removing you from being co-host so that you can vote as well. So everyone, please just spare 30 seconds for voting. Okay, here's the poll. Just a second. Okay, 30 seconds to go.
I hope that everyone votes. So with that, I end this segment. Thank you all for the amazing speeches. It was very enjoyable table topics and prepared speeches as well. So over to you, TM Hibba.
Thank you for the table topic session, TMM. Okay, moving on to the third part of the session, we have our general evaluator for the day, our past president. Give a round of applause to TM Imran Rana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Heba, for conducting such an amazing session, although the job is not yet ended. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the third segment, the very important segment, that is evaluation segment. What is the shortest word in English language that contains the letters A, B, C, D, E, F? Please hurry up.
Feedback.
Yes, you are right. Fellow Toastmaster segment, fellow Toastmasters and guests, so welcome to the general evaluation segment. We all need feedbacks because we all want to improve. And I have a very good team of evaluators. Let's start with prepared speech evaluation. Our first evaluator is Toastmaster Amir Bilal. Toastmaster Amir Bilal, I request you, without wasting a single minute, please show yourself and please share your evaluation.
Thank you very much, TM Imran Rana. And honestly, I wanted to see you long before, but you know, when the time comes, things happen on exact time. So, Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed presented his icebreaker from Presentation Mastery Level 1. And the purpose of his project was for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn basic structure of public speech. Wow. And what an incredible speech this really was. This wasn't only an introduction, but I see it was a kind of success story as well. You presented in a way that you have achieved so much, and now you are cherishing and expanding your experience of learning new things, and you're trying to equip yourself with the modern technology as well. However, there are a few things that I would like to see a little improved in your future projects, and those are, I feel greetings in any Toastmasters speech are mandatory. So everybody who listens to you feel really welcomed, and they stay more attentive towards that as well. And the other thing is that I feel you could work upon is voice modulation. When you said I was fired, so this was with the normal tone. You could say that, and I was fired, and then you narrated as you won 3 international competition or contests, and then there could have been something with a little more excitement and energy so that we could feel and connect with you similarly. And I won 3 international contests. So this is something that you could work upon, and I feel a wonderful, energetic, and amazing speaker in you. And I trust me on this. Just keep on working hard. Just keep on delivering your projects. You would quickly go through all your pathway and deliver all the projects. Your confidence was wonderful. Uh, the expressions were utilized really well, and it was a wonderful speech. Trust me, I was just expecting a normal speech, but you delivered a magical and memorable first project of Icebreaker. Wish you all the best for your next project as well. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster R. Bilal, for such a wonderful evaluation. Moving on to our next speech evaluator, and he is none other than DTM Talha. So, DTM Talha, I request you to please share your findings. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran Rana. Today, okay. So today we witnessed Toastmaster Jahazeb Shah deliver a project on vocal variety. First of all, the good points. You had a very absorbing start that I believe gripped everyone, especially as Toastmasters. It was very, very relevant. You had confidence and you had a casualness about you, which was very refreshing to see. You eased the audience into looking at you and listening to you. So that is something very commendable, and not everyone can do that. You projected sincerity during your speech. So every word we heard, it seemed that it was coming directly from your heart. Now, you may want to work on, you were using some crutch phrases. For example, that is the thing. You use it quite a lot. And you were sitting down during the speech, so perhaps you could have stood up, and that would have added to the vocal variety, which is the main point of this project. So, contrary to popular opinion, vocal variety does not exactly ask you to jump up and down and scream and shout and whisper all within one speech. Your speech clearly didn't call for that. When I look at the evaluation sheet of your project, it asks me to evaluate your speech on loudness or volume, which was okay, which was quite appropriate. The pitch was also very fine. Your voice quality was very clear. Your articulation of words was very good. Your timing was okay. It was jerky at times, but overall it was okay. It was not very inconsistent, and it flowed smoothly from start to finish. And you raised your rate of speaking and lowered it as per the requirement. And your vocal variety. Now there, I felt that it leaned bit on a spectrum from being emotionless to conveys emotion. I said that I feel that it leaned towards the middle. It could have been more emotional, so you may need to work on that. But judging on that criteria alone, you fulfill the requirements of this project. Although, as a general rule, your vocal variety could have been more, but perhaps due to the constraints of the topic that you chose, uh, they limited you. So you could have chosen a topic that could have incorporated dialogues, or you know, dialogues between two people, or impersonating some other persons. But the evaluation sheet in your project teaches you that, it teaches us, all of us, that reaching out for vocal variety does not necessarily mean gymnastics on the stage. Vocal variety can be there even in a very understated, very plain speech, and largely it was there. But you could have improved the amplification a little bit, and you could have injected more emotion into the areas where you felt really emotionally vulnerable while recounting your journey. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha, for such a wonderful evaluation. Moving on to our next evaluator, it was myself. So I was evaluating Toastmaster Mohsin Raza. So Toastmaster Mohsin Raza delivered his third project from second level, and it was about mentorship. So Toastmaster Mohsin instantly grabbed the audience attention by asking about the questions, and then he brought his mentorship experience of Toastmasters, where he was mentoring by DTM Zaid Kalia, and he mentioned 2-3 Toastmasters, seasoned Toastmasters, Toastmaster Rama, Toastmaster Sahar, and DTM Munib. So then he explained all the elements of mentorship with personal examples. Today, I must say Toastmaster Mohsin Raza delivered speech confidently, and he was quite better than his previous speeches. Sorry, I have to compare it, but it was a fact. Okay, so throughout your speech, you were very lively as you were enjoying the speech, and your body gesture was perfectly aligned with your speech. I would there were 3 areas which you can work upon. First of all, you need to work upon your speech timing, as you were from the last 2-3 speeches you were going overtime. So you need to do some preparation so that you can end up your speech within the time limit. And the second thing is that since your laptop or mobile was towards down, so you were a little bit bending. So what you need to do is to rise up your laptop or mobile phone so that we can see half of your body, and so that you can deliver your speech with a standing gesture. And with if you do this, there was a problem in vocal variety. I was struggling with voice quality. In that way, you can improve upon. So overall, this improvement areas, I can guarantee you, you can do wonders. Because as you are a soft-spoken speaker, you always remind me Toastmaster Hassan Ali Thebo. So with that, you can do wonders. With that, I ended up my evaluation. And moving on to our next evaluator, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum was evaluated by DTM Shahrukh Shanawaz. So I request DTM Shahrukh to please share your evaluation. The stage is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I hope I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Toastmaster, thank you. Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, you presented your project to level 3 from dynamic leadership using presentation software. The title of your speech was The Retention. Well, your project was a very difficult project because I have throughout my career as a Toastmaster have struggled with using PowerPoint presentations, and technology hates me and I'm always betrayed by it at the very end. So you messaged me the evaluation sheet before the meeting, which shows your professionalism and discipline. Your opening was amazing. You started with a question and engaged the audience. The content of your speech was again amazing. You told us about memory, the process of retention, short-term memory, screen learning approach, mnemonics. Basically, I also took psychology as my subsidiary in university. So hand gestures, voice modulation, great use of pauses. And I don't know if you remember it, but you've seen a great transformation as a speaker. You are demonstrating enthusiasm, passion, and energy. The area you may want to work on, some reason I should have said this thing, or timer, or VP education should have pointed this out that the slides are not changing. So I feel partially responsible for that mishap. Besides that, you are a wonderful performance. You have presented a wonderful performance. You are a great You are a great speaker, and I enjoy listening to you a lot. And good luck for the future. Back.
Thank you very much, DTM Shahrukh, for such an amazing evaluation. Okay, although there were some technical glitches, so Toastmaster Ali Ashar, what you can do, you can call him and take as many evaluation as you want. Okay, moving on to our next evaluator. Toastmaster Umar Hayat was evaluated by Toastmaster Urusa. So I request our president to please share your evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster Imran. Toastmaster Umar, is he here or he's left? Toastmaster Umar, your speech and then your questions. So your speech was the perfect introduction, I would say, for the Q&A session that followed later on. You were to the point, like you always are, and what I really liked about your presentation was that it was layman friendly. Like if there was some person who had a rough knowledge of fintech, they would completely understand with your presentation what you were talking about. About your questions, you took 4 questions. I need to know, were they pre-designed? Did you have them pre-designed? Did you ask the members to ask you those questions? All right. I cannot hear you, so I'll just move on. So the 4 questions actually were very well rounded, and the first question was competitor analysis. The second one was a global takeover, which showed the breadth and depth of your knowledge. The second one was about regulations, and the last one was about infrastructure constraint, which was about the local policies. So all the 4 questions were actually asked in a very good manner, and you answered them even in a very well-rounded manner. What you did not know, you agreed that you did not know, and you had a workaround around that. And what you knew, you explained very well. So very well crafted. There was no punching of data, no numbers. So that was very, very refreshing in your speech. What I would like to add as an improvement would be the slides. There was not a lot of data on the slides, but when the slides would open up, I would feel that there was this information overload just on my face. So maybe a little less data, but the graphics were really very nice. The colors were really very good. So maybe keep those colors, but a little less data. Other than that, your speech was really well put together, and all the questions and answers were really sorted out. So over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, President Urusa, for your evaluation. Moving on to our next speaker. Our next speaker was Toastmaster Muneeb Alam, and he was evaluated by our tall tale champion, Toastmaster Latif Mansoor. Toastmaster Latif Mansoor, could we have your evaluation, please?
Had it, Gulam, GQ not participated, right? Today, my target speaker, TM Saeed Muneeb, speech title, The Power of a Genius Sitting Idle at His Office Desk, informed us about the genius of the marketers whose tactics of keeping customers, innocent customers, keep coming. Strategies to attract kids are really the one which engage the parents and the family members come towards the point. Though the parents does not like to have it, but for the kids, they make sure to go a little step ahead. TM says, speak about marketing. Through that, not only you kept us engaged, you made us realize how far we go to keep our family happy. You achieved the purpose of speech, keeping us engaging a little bit of humor and more of information. Your speech structure was very well began with your personal anecdote. What inspired us was to see the use of artificial industry in respect of customers' timings, where to show and how to display their attraction, how to get attracted, plus the value of the product. So it really impressed me, and I'm sure all of the audience also. Kim said your project demands a style, actually, a speaking style, which was missing. And that could have a little high and low For example, your face expressions would be like, who use fair and lovely, or your own favorite, the McDonald's, I am loving it, would have added little bit more value. What we observed, or what I have observed, is like you spent all of your time just standing at one point, at one place. It would be more effective if you had have delivered with some of the props. Like, for example, do you know what is this product? What would have given this, that these product at your home, that make sure that you are also affected to this marketing, not only us. So victims are both sides. Very important. The title was very related to the speech, but it was not even said once. It looked like a title is a ghost and speech is our marketers. Last but not the end, what I enjoyed most. What I enjoyed most was the delivery, the part of the way you delivered the speech, keeping us engaging towards to the audience and everyone. In a nutshell, little vocal variety, and there could be a suggestion how to avoid artificial industry, so that we should know what to show and what not to show, especially when you said that I could be caught with my girlfriend and anybody can notice. So your professional demeanor has everything to see you on this stage and Toastmaster stage outside also. Well done and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif, for your such an amazing evaluation. Moving on to our next evaluator. Our next speaker was Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, and he was evaluated by Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. So Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, please share your evaluation. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imran Rana. So Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, there was a opening before the opening, basically. When you asked everybody to open the camera screens because you were not able to talk through black screens. So that was something very catchy before you even began. So I like that. And I like that you are such a gifted speaker. You have everything. You have gestures which are very purposeful and aligned with the words and the sentences that you speak. You have poses, and you used a prop when you use a mobile phone, and you displayed the voice modulation perfectly when you try to mimic Team Imran's voice on the phone, and that was spot on. So voice modulation was there, pauses were there, gestures were there, and you have a very good digital presence, I must say, because this is a new kind of a skill that we all should master, that you have to have good lighting, good camera angle, good internet connection, and whatnot. So you had all of that sorted out. Your lighting was good. Your facial expressions were so evident, clear, visible, and the voice was crisp and clean. So I must say, good digital presence. Since your speech started, I was thinking, who is his mentor? And when you started describing the person, even though if you wouldn't have mentioned his name, I would have guessed, because you and I both are lucky that we both have him mentoring us. So without any doubt, Team Imran Rana, he is the one who always pushes you when you think that you are not ready into it, and he will push you. So you define your journey as a protege at KTC, thus you fulfill your objective of this project. I would love to share one advice that I received very quickly from TM Talha. When you said that you lost the contest, well, TM Talha taught me this, that at KTC, we don't lose, we learn. At Toastmaster, we can win without beating anybody else. So there are no losers at Toastmasters. So this is just my 2 cents that I learned from TTM Talha. And one more thing, I would end this. I'm not able to think about anything else that I could recommend you that you can improve upon, but there is one small point that I think you should consider in your next project, which is the conclusion. I thought that it was like abrupt and short, and you end it very quickly. So maybe with some more content and elaboration, the conclusion could have been improved. Over to you, Toastmaster Imran.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, for such an amazing evaluation. And you rightly said that in KTC, we don't lose, we always learn. Okay, Toastmaster Sayyid Jazib done, Toastmaster Sayyid Mohsin Raza done, Ali Ashar done, Sayyid Munib Alam done, Umar Hayat done, Ghulam Qadir done, Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed done. Who's left? Oh, I get it. Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, our third place winner of International Video Speech Contest. He is going to be evaluated by none other than very dedicated Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan. Hiba Rais Khan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I just completed his evaluation on time before you mentioned my name, thankfully. DM Javed Bhatti, you spoke on a topic which reflected on your journey in Pathways. And it was a very good journey, as you mentioned, and you've learned a lot through many people, especially DTM Talha, TM Imran. What I liked about your speech was that you mentioned the people who help you become a better speaker. Okay, you had good clarity during the time you spoke, and because as I could understand what you were speaking, and you had good eye contact as well, and I found you constantly looking at the camera, and during the time you and you also demonstrated audience engagement needs, and what I thought that the audience were well aware about what you were speaking, and you were effectively able to engage their attention. And I also thought that you were comfortable during the time you spoke, and I could detect no signs of hesitation. And also you were able to engage the audience with a well-constructed speech and have their attention span. However, like every other speech, there's some areas which you need to improve upon. I thought you lacked vocal variety and could have incorporated it in your speech. Also because since you were sitting down, I could not detect sufficient gestures in your speech. The gestures would have helped you help you in expressing yourself better as a speaker. And you however, I had mentioned the positives of the speech. Now for the negatives. However, I thought like every other speech, there were a few areas of improvement that you need to focus upon. You lack vocal variety, and I thought you could have incorporated it in your speech to bring more depth. Also, since you were sitting down, you lacked gestures, and I could not see your gestures, which could have helped you express yourself better. And you demonstrated, and I also thought that since you were sitting down, I could not exactly see you covering the speaking area as well, which is important in Toastmasters. So next time, please, when you're delivering a speech, do stand up and deliver. And in the end, I would say that by focusing on the areas of improvement, you certainly are on the, and incorporating it in your next speech, you are certainly on the way to becoming a better speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hiba, for such an amazing evaluation. Okay, with that, our speech evaluation segment has come to an end. I request our vote counter to please share the polling so that we can cast the vote. And okay, here we go.
30 seconds. And those 30 seconds are valid even for Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. So please be quick.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha, and thank you once again, all the speech evaluators. Now we are moving to our second evaluation segment, that is table topic evaluation. And for that, I request our president, Toastmaster Urusa, to please share your table topic evaluation, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So the first speaker was Toastmaster Imran Rana. His topic was motivational movie that he saw, and he told us about the movie After Promise. Your content was really good, and how you used it in your life. You told us about how you used it in your life. What you could improve in your speech would be gestures. Your facial expressions are really good, but I could not see a lot of gestures. So that is something you could add in your speech. Please do keep coming back and inspiring us more with your speeches. The next speaker was DTM Maria, accomplishment that has impacted your life. You shared a memory with us. You shared a memory with us, and personal memory, and your story was really very good. You were very happy when you were sharing it with us. However, your camera angle could have been a little different. Maybe your camera could have been eye level. Instead, it seemed like you were looking away from us. The next speaker was Toastmaster Sar. Middle of the argument, and you realized you were wrong. You told us about a bike accident, and then you realized that it was your mistake. What I liked best thing about your speech was that it was a simple incident, and you built an entire story around it. However, I felt like gestures were missing. You could have added a little gesture in your speech to add a little bit of variety, and it would have been a little bit of zing. DTM Shahrukh, comfort of life come at the expense of others. You told us about a personal story. You had a proper opening, a story, and then a closing, and your message was really good. No matter who gets what, people should not change. Again, gestures were a little bit missing. Your facial expressions were there, but adding a little bit of gestures would enhance your speech. DTM Shamam, KTC should start physical meetings or not, or when it should start. You handled the topic very well, and you built the topic so well and brought your personal story in it. Very well done. What I really liked were your facial expression and gestures. And I say, for today, you are the only person who actually used gestures and facial expression together. So kudos on that. And maybe I couldn't really see an improvement that I can recommend to you in your speech. So over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much for evaluating such an amazing table topic speeches. Okay, moving on to our last segment, not the last segment, that is reports from facilitators. Our word master was Toastmaster Latif. Toastmaster Latif, could we have your report, please?
Word of the day was dinner, and no one has used except me. This is a punishment actually. I'll be the word master for next meeting, and we'll keep the same word.
Good job.
Good.
So our grammarian today was DTM Shahrukh. DTM Shahrukh, could we have?
Sorry, one of the evaluators. Okay, it was you who used Bimini, right? Yeah.
And I'm disqualified.
Yes. Okay, moving on to our next facilitator, grammarian, DTM Shahrukh. Could we have your report, please? Toastmaster Shahrukh, are you with us? Shahrukh, I think we lost.
I think he disconnected. So move on to the next room.
Okay, our counter is Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed. Toastmaster Naveed, could we have your report, please?
Yes, I have counted filler words for prepared speeches and table topic as well. So the number one speech was the Syed Jahazeb Shah, who has encountered around 26 filler words, 1 a, 19 you know, 3 saw, 1 write, and 2 repetitions. Second one goes to Mohsin Raza, encountered total 9 filler words, 5 are, 1 you know, 3 and. The third one is Ali Ashar Anjum, which I noted 1 filler word for his speech. Fourth one was Javed Bhatti. He encountered around 48 filler words, including 16 and 18 times, write 1, repetitions 10 times, so 7 times, and the 2 times. Fifth one was Sayyid Munib Alam, encountered 25 filler words, including 10 6 you know, 7 and.
Toastmaster Naveed?
Yep.
Toastmaster, if you allow me, could I suggest something?
Yep.
Okay, could you please go with the totals? And
Totals only.
yeah.
Sure. So I didn't noted the filler words for Umar Hayat and Ghulam Qadir and myself, obviously. So the table topic speakers were Mr. Imran Rana, 14, DTM Maria Ahmed, 2, DTM Shahrukh Shahnamaz, 5, and TM Shamam, 6. That was the total report.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Naveed Sheikh, for such an amazing findings. What you can do, you can take a snapshot and share it on the WhatsApp group. Okay. Thank you once again. So moving on to our next facilitator, timer, Toastmaster Talha, could we have your report, please?
Thank you so much. So I've already recapped who qualified and who did during the speeches and the table topics and the evaluations. So overall, the meeting started, I think, it started on time, and it got delayed due to 1 or 2 factors. But one thing at this point that I would like to highlight is the brilliant table topics evaluation. Usually the allowance is 30 seconds per speaker, and the table topics evaluator stuck to that allowance almost perfectly. It was so perfect that she did it in 2 minutes. So amazing job there. And none of us felt that the table topics evaluation was missing anything. Also, overall admirable job by most of the speakers and the evaluators and the table topics because all the table topic speakers were within time, and only 2 of the speakers exceeded their time, and 1 evaluator exceeded his time by a mere 8 seconds. So overall, good job. Over to you, Mr. Imran.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha. So do we have our listener today?
I'm the listener.
Okay, yeah, Ali Ashar Anjum, you were the listener. Let's have our listening test. Toastmaster Ali Ashar, over to you.
Okay. I have noted many crispy words, but as we are out of time, so I'm just going to share.
Only 5.
Only 5. Okay. So I request you all to please unmute yourself. So the first one is instant gratification. Instant gratification.
Jahazeb.
Okay. Playing with the innocent mind.
Munib.
Okay. Leverage the power of technology. Leverage the power of technology.
Umar Hayat.
Reshuffle it.
Okay. Digital presence. Digital presence.
Toastmaster Javed Bhatti.
Javed.
Okay. And the last one is time came to say goodbye.
Javed Bhatti.
Nobody said it yet.
I think everybody
TM
wants to
Imran.
say it right now.
TM
Okay.
Imran. TM
Okay.
Imran Rana.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for such an amazing job. Okay. With that, our reports from facilitator has come to an end. Okay. Now it's Cremarian Shahrukh. Is Shahrukh with us?
Yes, yes,
I
he's
am
here.
sorry for being selected.
DTM Shahrukh, could we have your finding, please, about Cremarian?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Where for the area of improvements, this sentence or phrase, you know, as Toastmasters, we love it a lot. So please devote this, you know. And the good uses of grammar by rocket science and Big Bang, trivial nature. Till his day, I am observing and learning, categorizing memories into 3 tiers, called the biggest disruptor. This man was chasing me. You never stop learning and never stop growing. And the greatest line ever spoken in the English language, which has surprised Shakespeare and Charles Dickens. With this, I close the chai to General Evaluation. Hello, General Evaluation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DTM Shahrukh, for such an amazing effort. So it's time for me to evaluate the meeting in general. Is Shahrukh Shanawaz still there? Okay, all the role
Yeah, he's
holders.
there.
Thank you very much, DTM Shahrukh, for such an amazing effort. Since you are struggling between connectivity, so congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay, so the meeting started on time. I'm loving it. Today, all the role holders explained their roles extremely well. I'm loving it. All the prepared speeches were amazing. I'm loving it. Table topic session was amazing. I'm loving it. Table topic prepared speech evaluations, amazing. I'm loving it. Table topic evaluation, extremely good. She is the president. I'm loving it. Okay, it's really it's really feel happy when someone praise you in front of such an amazing audience. So thank you very much, Ghulam Qadir, and thank you very much, Javed Bhatti. And we should praise our XCOM for such an amazing efforts. President, VP Education, VP Membership, VP PR, Treasurer, Sergeant at Arm, and last but not the least, our
Immediate past president.
secretary. They really work hard, so we should give thanks to them. They are actually the driving force that behind every successful meeting. So we should congratulate them. So thank you very much for such an amazing meeting. One suggestion is that please revive that thing, one member, one role, because one member can only play one role with complete what do we say, in a perfect way, but he cannot, it will be difficult for him to switch from one role to another role, like myself and like DTM Talha and like Toastmaster President Urusa. She is the table topic evaluator, she is the speech evaluator, and she must be playing some other roles too. And DTM Talha is the timer, he's the tech host, and he's evaluating. So please, members, please step forward and take roles. It would be good if we follow one member, one role scheme, So you will find amazing meetings. Means the quality of meeting will be improved, although it's an amazing meeting. So finally, I request everyone to unmute your mic. I will say the overall meeting and you have to say, I'm loving it. So everyone, the overall meeting was?
I'm loving
I'm
it.
loving it.
Yes. With that, I would like to hand over the...
TM Imran, now Munib will run direct to McDonald's only.
Okay, so with that, I would like to hand over the charge back to our very dedicated Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan. Toastmaster Hiba, over to you.
Okay, I suppose we are done with all the votings and all. So I would hand back charge to the president, TM
I think
Urus.
voting for the big four is left.
Okay, okay. I would thank you,
There it is.
Ghulam Kader, for the reminder before I forget again. So the big four voting has been, the poll sheet has come on in front of the screen. So it reads Toastmaster of the day, evening me, TM Imran Raza, the table topping master, TM Imran Rana, the general evaluator, and TM Unusa Kaval. So members and guests, please vote for your favorite big four Toastmaster, and with that, I would hand back the charge to the president. So,
Everyone, please vote if you haven't voted. A few seconds left. Okay, we are done. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Toastmaster Hiba, for conducting the meeting, and it was indeed a very nice meeting. Kept me awake, and I'm still awake. So let's start with the critics' choice first today, instead of doing the regular thing. So who do you think got the critics' choice? Like who was right on the speech ballot?
TM Umar Hayat.
Any more guesses?
I'll go after
Toastmaster Munib Alam.
Sheikh Naveed.
Yeah, Naveed can be, Umar Hayat can be, or GQ. I don't know.
Ghulam Qadir.
All right. So some people are correct here. So the first critics' choice goes to Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir. The second one goes to Toastmaster Umar. And the third one goes to Toastmaster Munib. So almost everyone was correct.
Toastmaster Urusa, could you please give a little bit brief introduction about the critics' choice?
Well, the Critics' Choice is a special award that we have designed, or the VPE has designed, which awards the award to speeches according to the international speech ballot. So every meeting there is a secret judge who is listening to all the speeches, and he or she is marking all the speeches according to the speech ballot that is given to them. And this week, Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir's speech was the first, Toastmaster Umar's speech was the second, and Toastmaster Munib was the third, according to that ballot. So now for the regular votes. Toastmaster Tala.
Okay, so we start with best speaker, and the audience tends to agree with the critic. Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, best speaker.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
I told you it's a best tall tale.
But let me tell you one more thing. Let me tell you one more thing, and that is something amazing.
Please don't take
And
away
the audience
something
also
from
seems
Toastmaster
to
Latif,
agree.
please.
Yeah, the audience also seems to agree for the second position, which is Toastmaster Sayyid Umar Hayat, and I'm mentioning it because Toastmaster Umar grabbing the second position in terms of votes for a project like that is nothing short of astounding, and it's no less a triumph. So congratulations on that. I haven't seen such a project receive that many votes, and it is a testament to how brilliantly you did it. So congratulations. Second is best table topic speaker, and we had a battle between two DTMs, and one of the DTMs won. And this time it's DTM Maria. Third is our best evaluator. And this time also there was a battle between two DTMs. But instead Toastmaster Amir Bilal won. So congratulations. And best pick four. There were no DTMs involved here. And we have a winner, Toastmaster, and she will have to be in a position where she has to give an award to herself, Toastmaster Rusa Kaval.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for voting. So we have one award left. We have the Critics' Choice Facilitator Award left. So, and that for the amazing counting of the to Toastmaster Sheikh Nabil. You do a wonderful job, no doubt. So with that, let's adjourn the meeting. We are already over time, and let's meet next week, same place, same time.